Hello, my name is James. I studied philosophy and linguistics at Oxford, and today I'm going to teach you how to think like an Oxbridge academic. So, how do you answer a university level philosophy question? Using the real technique, I'm going to show you how to answer a past interview question for Oxbridge Philosophy. Here's the question: what does it mean to be happy? First, I'd probably say, I guess there's a biological sense. Obviously, endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and chemicals in the brain. That's a sort of very basic answer on what it means to be happy, scientific way. Sort of more philosophically, I've been reading a lot recently about Aristotle and virtue ethics and his concept of eudaimonia, sort of fulfillment, but it's sometimes translated as happiness into modern English. It's not the best translation, but it's an interesting idea. And that's sort of what I reckon happiness is, Aristotle's idea. He had this idea of happiness and fulfillment in a greater, more fulfilling sense of the arc of the whole life, including all sorts of traits. We grow to be good people in the sense that we're good at being people. So it's just as important to be fun at parties as it is to be a kind person, or maybe not just as important, but that they're on a similar axis, which I think is really cool. It sort of ties happiness into this thing that includes all of these different senses. And I think that's actually what people often talk about when they say, you know, am I happy with my whole life? What they sort of mean is, am I happy that I'm being a good person? I'm leading a good life. I mean, I feel like you could have a lot of those biologically happy moments, but unless you have a deeper sense of the Aristotle style contentment, and unless you grow all of the virtues in line with his sort of virtue ethics model, you're not really going to be feeling happy in a sort of more fulfilled way. So I guess my opinion would be that there's kind of two kinds of happiness. There's the transient happiness, which is the biological sense, and it passes and it comes and goes, and we can point at brain events and say those are happiness. There's also a kind of deeper happy that represents general contentedness in life. And I think those are two different senses of what it means to be happy. They aren't really talking about the same thing. And that's more the Aristotelian kind. But I suppose sort of from another angle, maybe happy just means different things to different people. I mean, can we really actually pin down what it means to be happy? Sort of dodging the question maybe a bit, but yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, it's such a subjective experience. It's literally trying to define an emotion. I would sort of question whether actually it's possible to define one thing that is happiness for every different person, given it's such a subjective experience. And that's just one example of how to answer a university level philosophy question. I'm James, and I've just taught you how to think like an Oxbridge academic.